All right, all right, all right. Are we on here? We're not on here yet. We're waiting to be on here. Now we're on here. Dang, that's a good looking group. At least you two. All right, at any rate, so here we are, another week.
It is.
A little different though, because we're coming out on a, was it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Afternoon. Okay. Only thing I really care about right now, what happened at the concert?
Concert was a resounding success. We had a great time. Savannah, highly recommend. If you haven't been, it's a beautiful town, and we had a great time.
Wait, who was the concert again?
Parker McCullum,
Okay.
He is a country singer. Now, I will caveat here for the audience. This is the second time I've seen him where he has left the stage, crowd wanted an encore, and he did not come back out.
Oh,
So this might be the last time Parker gets any of my money.
Oh my!
no.
At least he showed up. Remember when who's the guy in Oxford that didn't show? Everybody waited in line?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of his name, but he's everywhere.
Morgan Wallen.
Morgan
Yeah.
I was there.
You were there?
I was so disappointed. It was raining. It was like 40
Everybody
degrees.
was waiting.
No,
We know how to pick
it was-
concerts on
Yeah.
this show,
Oh,
that's
my
for sure.
All right, well, that's why you go to see the Eagles, right, Jackson?
Yes, that's right.
In REO Speedwagon, in the great tunes of the 70s and 80s. All right, I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm counting them down. All right, so that's good. I'm glad we talked about that. But let's talk about real estate, shall we? Okay, so this week we're going to talk about mortgage, what's going on with the mortgage rates. We're going to look at the economy and what's going on with the Fed, what they're doing, right? They got some stuff coming up. We got the sales stats. Now, this is interesting. We're going to take a look comparing February of 2023 with February of 2024. They've got some cool stuff in there, some telling stuff. We're going to look at population and migration trends, and then y'all, we're down on 38 doing some stuff.
We are.
That's right.
Okay, well, good talk. We'll talk more about that here soon. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what's going on with the mortgage rates. I can tell you right now that the mortgage rates are down 0.03%. Okay, that's not much, that's some, but they're not up. Okay, we like that. Today's average rate for the benchmark 30-year fixed mortgage was 7.27%, down 3 basis points from a week ago. Last month, it was at 7.11. All right, well, again, they're not up, they're not massively down either. The current average rate, well, this is interesting, I like this. The current average rate you'll pay on a principal and interest basis is $683.53 for every 100 grand you borrow. Yeah, that is kind of cool, huh? Last week, it's down $2 for every 100 grand. Okay. What's expected? They'll gradually come down this year. Everybody thinks interest rates are going to come down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit bumpy. Absolutely going to be bumpy. All right. Don't look for much changes coming out of the Federal Reserve. They got another meeting though coming up on March 20th, which is in what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. But if you're looking for March rates to come down, don't look for that. I think GDP was higher than they expected. Unemployment was lower than expected. They need people to be unemployed and stop spending to get inflation under control. Don't look for mortgage rates to come down. All right. So that's what's going on with mortgage rates and the little quick hit on the Fed. Let's talk about sales stats. Can you pull those up, Katie? Now, this is something. We looked at sales stats for condos and houses. All right, so what do we got here? I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can see. Condo sales, these are the solds in February. And if you look at this graphic, it's last year 23 versus 24. Look in Destin. Last year, the median sales price was $615. This year, up $665. It's up 8.1%. All right. But if you go across on the number of sold, Crater, 41 condos sold in Destin last year, 25 this year. That's almost 40% down, 39% down. So what we're seeing is a drop in the number of transactions, but an increase in the sold prices. That's interesting. Miramar Beach, right? This is Sandestin area, Miramar Beach, Crystal Beach area. Prices, this is not, all right, look at last year, 780, 500. This year, 609, 950. That's a almost 22% drop. Okay, so prices are softening in Miramar Beach. Heavy. Now, Destin probably didn't come down because you got a lot of people that live permanently in Destin.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to hold that back. Miramar Beach, Sandestin, though, I know you got some primary residences there, but it's a lot more driven by those investors in Crystal Beach and even in Sandestin. And you look at the transactions, down 15%. Okay. Fort Walton Beach out on Okaloosa Island for condos. 490. I guess we're talking condos. There's not going to be a whole lot of primary residences in the condos. 490 on Okaloosa Island, up. Ooh, that's a big up to 612. 25% jump in price, and you got more of them selling. 27.3% more. Okay, this is up, down, up, down. This is all over the place.
Yep.
30A, East End of 30A. That's Rosemary, Alice, Seacrest Beach, that area, right? Ooh, major drop in price. 926.5 down to 675. Same number of sales though. That's interesting. There's just not a ton of them. That's why this data can get skewed so much, is there's just not very much data.
Yeah.
West End.
Yeah. Not a big enough sample size.
Yeah, it's pretty small. It's hard to get. West End of 30A. What is that? Butler Elementary area.
Watercolor.
Yeah, into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So West End, 730 for a condo, almost double, or it did double, more than doubled. Wow. Again, that's 115% increase. Good to be over there, right? These are sold prices. Number of sales, okay, down, tank, right? From 7 to 2, still not a ton. There's just not very much. 71% drop. Okay, Navarre Beach. If you all don't know where Navarre Beach is, it's west of Fort Walton, Okaloosa Island. It's really nice out there. Yeah, someday we'll talk about that. But right now, prices jumped dramatically there from 414,250 up to 775. That's a big jump, 87%. But look at the number of sales, 1 compared to 8 last year. Ain't nobody buying out of Navarre right now.
No.
Interesting.
Do you think that's that people aren't buying, or is the listings down, or what do you think that is?
Well, I think what happens on Navarre, well, all of it. Interest rates are high, prices are high. I mean, look at, you doubled your price. Prices are high, mortgage rates are high, rents are soft, economy's starting to get a little weird. We're just seeing that. Across the board, we'll take a look at houses and we'll take a look at some of the other stuff here in a minute. But yeah, we're seeing the numbers sold crater. Prices are holding, but not, I mean, it's 50-50. I got 3 green and 3 red, right? Panama City Beach, 420, dropping down to 412. Not a huge drop, but a softening for sure. But the number of transaction crater. So let's take a look at the howdy and see what that story is. Oh no, the list prices. I'm sorry, the list prices. These are the sold prices. Take a look at the list prices. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the list. Sold for sale. Here we go. For sale condos. Okay, yeah, a little bit. Look at the number of new listings. Here, look at the green on the new listings. That's your inventory climbing. I mean, you can see the inventory is going up. And when inventory goes up, you got more supply. It's going to put a lot of pressure on your price. And you can see, we don't have all the red filled in, but you have mostly red on there. That minus 33 on Navarre Beach. It's mostly red. Destin area condos came up a little bit in price, but everything else is down. I guess Miramar Beach is up, 50 cents. Before Walton Beach, down in price. 38 down, east and west. Navarre down. Panama City's flat. So if you look at that new listings inventory, you got inventory driving the prices down. I would look in the coming months. It's going to be a battle because we're coming into the season too, where you got a lot of buyers. So check back next month and we'll see how spring break and everything in this inventory. Hopefully we'll start to see a number of transactions pick up.
I feel like it's a feel it out period, between buyers and sellers, with everyone's trying to see rates, see what's going to happen. And then everyone's, I feel like, kind of waiting for this first wave of spring break to really reassess where we're at. And I really think we'll see a lot more movement.
Yeah, I agree. Like when we're calling everyone, their first question is, well, what's the market going to do? And so everyone's just trying to wait and see and kind of fill it out before they do anything. Yep.
So we're coming in the season, spring break, then you'll have your shoulder season, and then in the hot summer months. So yeah, I think I agree with you 100%. Inventory's up. That's going to be a major factor. Let's see what happens. How about on the houses, Katie? What is happening on the houses? All right, here we go. Houses. All right, we got a lot of red on the numbers sold. They're cratering. But in Destin, oh, look at that price drop. 34% drop on the house prices in Destin. Wow. And that's a decent sample size if you think about it.
Yeah.
24 to 26. Yeah, prices are dropping for primary residences in Destin. Okay. I bet you're going to see when we look at the actives that the actives are up because that's the price pressure. Over in Sandestin, Miramar Beach, $1 million. It takes $1 million to buy a house, but that's down 13%. And the number of sales is down. That's probably because inventory's high, or not inventory, I mean, mortgage rates are high. Prices are still, $1 million is real money, right? 30A though, wacky, crazy. Look at the prices. Woohoo, party, right? But the number of sales is dropping. There's not as many. Navarre Beach. What in the wide world of sports is in Navarre Beach? Crazy.
They found oil.
Yeah, these are houses on Navarre Beach. But again, when you have that small of a sample size, it's hard to get your mind wrapped around it. Panama City. Okay, they came up a little bit, 4.5%. They're up in terms of number of properties for sale. But it's interesting, if you look at 30A in Navarre and even Fort Walton, Oakleys Island, the number of houses for sale is way down. Way down. Interesting. Oh, take that back. Look at Oakleys Island. There's none for sale. Zippo. That's what's going on, right? Which makes sense because there's not very many houses out there anyway. Okay, but yeah, so we're seeing, what is this? Miramar, Sandestin, the number of transactions down. Yeah, there you go. It's down. How about for sales, Katie? Let's take a look at what comes up on here. All right. There you go. Look at all that green on the new listings. That's supply. And it's significant too. Nothing on Oakleys Island. Again, there's just not enough houses there. But you look at the supply in Destin, new listings up 28%. Miramar Beach, 31%. 30A, East, Rosemary, Alice, all that, up 18%. On the West End though, now, could I argue on the West End, there's a lot of primary residences more so on 30A?
Yeah, I think that's also a great testament of why you split those two up in East and West, because I mean, they are both 30A, but I mean, primary versus, rentals, and then also, second family homes and stuff like that. It's just it's a completely different sector.
Yeah, I think on the East End, you have a lot more investment, second, third, fourth homes, rentals, but on the West End, you got Butler Elementary. Right. Okay, Navarre Beach. There's just not a lot out on Navarre Beach, so it's hard to get an idea, but prices are down. So anytime you see the listings, number of listings go up, like we're seeing across the board, condos, most of the area here, you'll start seeing a softening in prices. Now they held on because 30A is wacky. It's wacky. It's hard to tell what's going on with those folks. But I would look as we go forward here, again, spring break, hot, heavy season kicks in, our selling season kicks in. And we're going to weigh that against inventory because the inventory is climbing. That's going to be a nice little battle. Godzilla versus, who's Godzilla fight? King Kong?
King Kong.
God, that's an epic battle, right? Anyway, so yeah, we're going to watch that. But you guys are talking to a lot of owners, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what were they asking you? What's going on? What's
going on? What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Everyone's just curious. Everyone wants to get in when it's perfect. But I mean, everyone we're calling and reaching out to, they want to know what the price is, and then they want to know this and that and the other. And it goes back to what we were saying with this whole feel it out process. Because, like we're saying, we don't think rates are going to drop significantly. Now we do see, more getting listed, and we think that's where we're going to see a lot more change over the course of 24, because we really don't see those rates dropping significantly to bring new buyers. We think it's going to be, those listings are going to affect the prices and, the sellers' prices.
And Kaylee, you guys, HOAs are coming up, right?
Yes, everywhere. HOAs, that's what we're seeing, and that's what people are asking about as well, or they're not asking about it, and then we have to inform them so they'll be interested in a property, and then they have that assessment coming up, and that's when they're like, and they kind of steer away from that. And the HOA, these assessments are happening like everywhere. Everywhere in the condos. In the condos, yes.
Yeah, and that makes it hard to cash flow these things and get a return if you're looking for a specific cap rate.
I called, let's see, Henderson Resort today, and because they said they had a pending litigation on the building, so I reached out to the listing agent, and they said that they had water damage in the columns and in the balconies.
Oh boy!
And then the HOA is also
Calypso Tower 3.
Yeah. So
Henderson.
They're gonna start that in April, redoing those balconies.
Oh
And then
my!
the litigation will be seen in October. So we'll see about that. But it's happening everywhere.
I think that's a good thing, though. This goes back to the mitigation stuff and the milestone survey and all that stuff. That's good. You don't want any problems. Address small problems.
Yeah.
I agree.
Fix what you
wait
can
till they get
fix.
Yeah.
big. Yikes! I didn't know that. Huh?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what else we got next? We're gonna look at what do you got, Katie? I think it's population. So yeah, let's take a look at this because I find this fascinating. Here's what we watch, right? People buy real estate. So go where the people are going if you're going to invest in real estate. And what we watch is births, how many people are getting born, how many people are dying off. And that got really weird with COVID because a lot of folks died, but now it's starting to even out. So you got number of people being born minus the people dying. And then you got migration, which is really funky. But before we get into that, let's just start here. Number of homes. Now, depending on who you talk to, you guys, the number of homes were short across the country, right? There's more people that need and want housing than there is housing. It's been that way since the SNL crisis, not SNL, I want to say, the subprime mortgage, right? The Big Short, all that stuff. We had a lot of builders build houses before that, and they were selling to straw men that never ended up buying. The banks ended up getting these things back, foreclosure, short sales, and that crushed the building industry for years. And we ended up with a shortage of homes that we're still fighting. And it was starting to come back. Then COVID hit, supply chain issues. We're way short a number of homes for people that actually want to live in houses. And depending on who you talk to, can you pull that graphic back up, Katie? Depending on who you talk to, we're either a couple million, 3.2 million short according to Axios. Yeah, see, look at this graph. If you go back to, what is it, the 90s there, we were short and they started building because that's what you do. And then we had a surplus. And then we got into the subprime issue where it dropped and builders got out. And then things took off again. And I'm sorry, I'm wrong here. Early 2000, people started to build again, a lot of buildings. We had a bunch of houses. And then the subprime hit in 2004, 5. And look at how far down it fell. A lot of developers went out of business. A lot of builders just got buried. And banks just stopped lending. And now here we are, 3.2 short if you believe Axios. Now, if you believe the realtors, National Association Realtor comes out and says there's 7.2 that we're short. Either way, it's a lot.
It's somewhere in between that.
There's just not enough houses for folks. Even around here, we're seeing apartments everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're popping up like weeds in a garden. And it's not because we haven't too much housing. Because we don't have enough, and we don't have enough affordable housing.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue.
Where are your people going to live? So what impacts that now is, let's look at our population stuff here. We know we're short on houses, and where it gets really funky, you guys, is if we're short 3 million, maybe 7 million, where are we going to put all the people? We're up 200,000, right? What does it show here? 3.6 people are born a year, 3.6 million. 3.4 die, so we're 200,000 to the plus. Okay, that's a strain, but it's these immigration things. I'll just tell you, it's hard to find this. It's out there. You got to dig, but it's hard. I'm fairly confident saying normal immigration in the United States is about $1 million. Can you keep it up there, Kenny? Normal is going to be about 1 million people, not $1 million. About 1 million people coming into the country per year. According to NPR, which is a fairly liberal source, they're saying there's 2.5 million coming in, right? that immigrated legally. And we know there's a lot more coming in. If you see anything on the news, there's plenty of not so legal folks coming in. And I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm just saying, if we're short 3 million houses and you got 2 million people coming in or 3 million more coming in, now we're short 6 to 10 million houses. Where the heck are these people going to live? If you look at this projected population graph, I think we're heavy into that blue thing, the high immigration. That means folks can need houses. Where in the hell are they going to live? Right? And you know where they're living? They're living under bridges. They're living in their cars. They're living hotels in New York. Did you guys see that? What's going on? I think a Roosevelt Hotel. Did you see that?
Yeah, and the hotel companies love it. I mean, it's guaranteed occupancy and
100% occupancy, 100% of the nights. You're getting a good rate.
Yeah.
If I owned that hotel, I'd be quite excited about that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but now they're farming them out. They're I mean, think about it. You got 2.5 million legal. Let's say you double that. I don't know, 5 million people. All right, when you're used to having 1 million people, that's a lot of strain on the schools, strain on medical, strain on housing, strain on all that stuff. And again, I don't want to be political. I mean, if you're for or against it, whatever. But there's a lot going on with that. I would even argue, are we seeing some of that around here? Katie, I think you told me you see some people around, right? Yeah, I mean, you drive around, you're starting to see some of this.
Another thing with that is going back to how hard it is to find accurate data. I get the whole narratives and everything, but having reliable, accurate data on how many people are coming into the country every year is useful in any industry. That's something that the American people should have access to. In
so many ways. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I was thinking about it from a housing, because here's what happens. We're going to talk about immigrants, legal or otherwise, coming in. They're generally grabbing the lower rung of the housing ladder, the ones that y'all are trying to fight for, right? Your first-time home buyers, right? So you're competing with these people. And then they're buying houses from the first-time home sellers, probably, who are moving up, and away we go. And so, I don't know. Katie, let's put on the migration stuff. Let's take a quick look at that, because this is our future. And if you live in the state of Florida or the Southeast United States, yeah, happy times. All right, so here, look at the winners and losers here. Florida, big winner. A couple years in a row now. Texas. California is a winner too. I mean, it's a big place, so they got people coming and going. They're the only state, I think, on both winners and losers. North Carolina, Georgia. The Southeast, people are moving from the north to the Southeast, okay? And the other side of it is by ratio. Oklahoma is the big winner on that. But again, you're looking at the Southeast. And you know, if you think about all the towns in the Southeast, Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, Charlotte, Dallas, Houston, Birmingham, New Orleans, where do those folks go for vacation?
Here, they're coming to Florida.
God. So if they're growing, that means we're going to feel that, right?
And we are.
I mean, look at any parking lot, you see a lot of license plates. The losers, California. People are running from California. Okay, New Jersey. This is interesting. Louisiana. People are leaving Louisiana. And I bet they're going to Texas, probably going to Arkansas. Maybe they're going to Oklahoma. Maybe the one's going to Oklahoma. I don't know. And Florida. They lost one.
Yeah,
right?
They did. They lost me. I ran. Baton Rouge, I don't know, the crime there is a little scary, and I hear that those rates are going up too. And New Orleans especially, that the crime in New Orleans has gone up.
It's lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's lifestyle. You're seeing that in a lot of those bigger cities too. Okay. Well, what's the next one? I love this stuff. It just looks good for us as our future. All right. So why are people leaving? Okay. Let's talk about it. Retired. Okay. This is the baby boomers aging out, right? They're selling their businesses. They're moving to the villages. They're moving here. They're paying cash money. They don't care about mortgages. So you got all that. So if you think about it, guys, you got migration patterns coming to the Southeast from Tennessee to the Carolinas, Georgia, all that. And those folks are going to buy their second homes. They're going to come down here to vacation. They're doing all that. So plus all the people are moving to Florida.
Yeah.
And we just don't have no new condos. I don't see any condos going up. Do you?
Yeah, we always say they're not building any more beach.
They're not building more beach. So if you get an opportunity, I don't care if the mortgage rate is whatever it is. If you can get a chance to buy in here, because 20 years, and we looked at it in the past, if we go back over time, prices go up. I think we're on a precipice where we're seeing a little softening in prices. I think that's going to be short-term, temporary stuff. And I would look 5, 10, 15, 20 years, just massive up in prices.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's interesting. All right. So do we have any more on the population stuff? Is that where it ends? Okay. So what y'all do now? You're down on 38. What are we doing there?
We're in 38 this week. Tomorrow we have an open house down there. So we've kind of been checking out the area, seeing what's going on down there.
Yeah, just like to give our viewers, we're going to do a little segment on like a lot of the main areas around here. And so like this week, we're going to be talking about 38 for a little while. And so, 38 is an extremely, extremely unique area for this area. And I mean,
let me ask you something. Where, if somebody doesn't know, maybe I'm sitting in, Oklahoma City. I don't know, 30 where?
38. So that's another weird thing. So you hear 38, what that actually means is it's a county road. It's County Road 38. That's why they call it 38. And so 38 is in between Destin and Panama City Beach, and it just runs along the beach there. And so, it's just a very unique area as far as the layout. And I mean, it's hard to explain, but basically the best way to go about talking about it is it's a collection of small beach towns. Each of these towns have their own building codes that all the buildings and commercial or residential have to abide by. So they all have these unique looks.
Between Panama City and
Destin.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, like you'll drive through a couple, and so Alice Beach is all white. Then you go to the next one, they have their own thing. It gives a people a really cool experience to go through. If you drive the whole way down 38, you're going to see 9 or 10 different little beach towns that all have their different way of life. Their different food, their different shopping, their different fun, entertainment. So, it gives buyers,
completely different.
Yeah, it's just, you drive for 20 minutes and you basically drive through 10 different small beach towns. It's a really unique development, and it's been around for a while. And I mean, it's still continuing to grow.
So let me think about it. On the eastern edge, you got Inlet Beach. That's old school Florida. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, more Okaloosa Island.
Yeah, old school Florida. That's Inlet Beach before you get into Bay County, which would be Panama City Beach on the west end of Panama City Beach. Then you get into Rosemary Beach. We're talking money, right? That's a very European feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like you're in, I don't know, where maybe Germany or France or what, maybe not France, but
Very sophisticated.
it's very cool. A lot of shops, a lot of stuff. Some people live there on the permanent. Then you're into Seacrest Beach, which is your typical, right?
Yeah.
Great place to come in vacation. A lot of renters. Alice.
Yeah.
That's Bermuda. That's the white, cool. I think that's the highest prices.
For sure. It's like, you ever seen those Greek towns with all the white buildings overlooking the water? They all have that pristine whitewash look to them. And, green grass, that's kind of like the place of 38.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And they're building some new stuff. And you keep going. You get into Grayton Beach. That's old school too, right?
Yeah.
You can even drive on the beach, I think, in Grayton.
Yeah, you can get permits to drive on the beach. I mean, it's just the way it fluctuates within a 3-minute drive down there is pretty insane. And then, I mean, prices reflect that as well.
Tons of biking, walking,
Hiking,
Mm-hmm.
shopping, all kinds of
what else you have to get? Watercolor.
Mm-hmm. And then Seaside is the oldest, and
there you
kind of
go.
the staple of the area. It's all just so unique, the way it all flows together, and then also how sometimes it clashes up against each other. Right? It's just very unique from a buyer's perspective. There's plenty of places to check out, plenty of different price points, but yeah, it's really, really cool.
Okay, so what'd you find out? What do we got here?
I'm going to give a few recommendations on restaurants down in 38. Myself, I've ate down on 38, families and friends. Jackson has before. Jackson mentioned the Red Bar. I have not been there, but he said it's amazing. They have Cajun food, and they're referred to as a live music hotspot. So I definitely want to go check that out soon.
A lot of celebrities. I remember Sheryl Crow and Lance Armstrong used to hang out there a lot.
Old Florida Fish House.
Rubbing elbows, you know what I'm saying, right?
Old Florida Fish House is also a very popular restaurant down there. It's like indoor-outdoor restaurant. I've done homecoming pictures, prom pictures down there. Lots of family dinner. down there as well. So definitely go check those two restaurants out.
Great destination location.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, another thing about 38 is how y'all were talking about, it's like very pristine. Lots of celebrities live down there. Just it is so expensive, and if they can afford it, celebrities, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks, Britney Spears, lots of them live down there, which is really.
What's his name's got a cigar place in Prominence?
Oh yeah, you're right. I can't think of his name.
Who's it? Luke Bryan?
I think it is Luke
Yeah,
Bryan.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, it's like
he's a celebrity, right? He's big.
it's their third vacation house spot is what I would consider most of their 38 properties looking like.
I was gonna get a place down there, but I didn't want to hobnob with a bunch of
Yeah.
lowlifes. You know what I'm saying?
My second house is by their second house. I didn't want my third house by them.
Right, but it's nice. I mean, it's undiscovered, I would say,
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you something. A good friend of mine told me back in the day about 30A, about a lot of those places down there as it relates to real estate. And I bring this up from time to time. Okay, so Seaside, very popular,
Very popular.
crazy chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids, spring break, all that stuff. What she told me was what makes water sound, gated community, so great is it's gated.
Mm-hmm.
You can drive through Watercolor, you can drive through Seaside, you can drive through Grayton, you can drive through Rosemary. Ain't nobody driving through Water Sound.
No one's stumbling through.
Yeah, there's no looky-loos.
Mm-mm.
And that's pretty interesting. And she thought that would create value as more and more people come to the beach. I think I'm in agreement with her. So from a real estate standpoint, if you can be in a lot of places, water sound with its gated entrance might be a thing you want to look into. Little things like that. So that's interesting. What else? You guys got anything else down there? Or?
We took a look at the prices down on 38. We did condos and homes, most expensive versus cheapest. Let's
Yeah,
see.
some of the condos. So I mean, like we say for any of these areas around here, there is an entry point for everyone. Your cheapest condo on 38 is going to be Villas in Seagrove for about $350,000.
And that's got to be like a studio or something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they're small, and then I mean, just giving you the range here, they jump all the way up to a monster 6-bed, 6-bath with a private pool in Rosemary for a cool $8.4 million.
Practically giving it away.
Yeah.
And then we take a look at the homes. The cheapest home out there is going to be around $600,000.
What? Where's that?
It is in Bungalow.
Seagrove. It's in Seagrove.
Okay. I bet that's a tiny one too.
It's a bungalow in Seagrove.
Yeah. Because it's expensive down there.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a different way of life. You know, that's why we don't see a lot of primary residents live, especially on the east end of 30A.
So say I want to spend some money. Can I do that?
Yeah, for sure.
What's the high end?
22.5 million in Seagrove.
That's real money, right? 22.5.
Yeah, that's
Indoor plumbing?
I hope so. I might have air conditioning this time of the year. They turn it off in the winter.
Yeah, 22.5. We'll have to pull some data on that one. So this is interesting about 38. It doesn't rent as well.
No.
It's Destin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. People, I think part of the reason why is they don't rent as often. They're not buying them as just cash flow machines.
No.
I think what they're doing is they're buying these properties, and the ones that do rent are just subsidizing some of the owning costs. Yeah, so you don't have nearly the condos. There's not nearly as many condos, so you don't see that Gulf front stuff. If you're looking for return on investment, you're looking at Destin, probably a little bit to the east in Panama City. But if you want appreciation in use and hanging out and riding your bike to cool places, then 38 is really.
Yeah, what we normally
Really
see
a
is
win.
just these houses that, I mean, 38 is just dominated by houses, and these houses are so large that normally people rent them out a few times a year for lump sum versus, you know, the condos that we normally talk about where people are constantly trying to have people staying all year round in order to maximize the rental. These people out here, they can afford to have a $8 million house that they can,
Just sits.
yeah.
That's what Jackson and I noticed yesterday when we were out in 38. I was like looking around and we're just seeing huge houses, and there was only one condo building. And that's like the opposite of when you drive through Destin. That's the only thing you see when you look up is the condos. So it's very different.
And South Walton County has a moratorium on how high you can go.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Grand Dunes here was the last skyscraper, if that's what you want to call it, to go in. You won't see that anymore. So that's interesting. Anything else?
Well, jumping ahead to some newer stuff, you know, looking ahead, spring break's literally this weekend coming up. A new development. I mean, we talk about it a lot here. People come here for the beach. They don't come here for the skiing. They come here to go to the beach. So that's a major thing in our area. And beach access is something that a lot of people from out of town, you know, you don't really think of it. I mean, it's not your fault at all. You just think everyone here is going to let you hang out and go to the beach. And, you know, that's becoming a real hot button. And nowhere is more
Who owns the beach?
Is 38. Apparently, for this spring break, so like we're talking about in Oakland Island, how the Gulf front is dominated by condos. These are dominated by houses. So these homeowners are hiring private security to not let anyone use their beach behind their house and actively throw them off. So that's something to watch out for, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You come down here, you're going to hang out at the beach. You know, you grab your box of chicken wings and your chair and you head to the beach. And all of a sudden, you know, some big bubba's down there saying, not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video on TikTok and it showed these homeowners going and like filling their own beach with just umbrellas. They called them ghost umbrellas and ghost chairs, so they didn't have people on their beach in front of them.
So I don't know how much you've traveled around the state of Florida, but our beaches here are pretty narrow, right? So your backyard, and they're literally in people's backyards. You go out to Jacksonville and south, they're big beaches. You can drive on the beach, right? You go further south all the way down to Miami, you got these big, wide, it's not as big of an issue. You get here, like I said, you're literally walking somebody's backyard in some of these cases.
Yeah, it's another thing is the elevation. The beach is pretty flat. A lot of those other places you have this steep hill. So when you're walking on these flat beaches here, because they are so narrow, you're basically right up against someone's patio.
Yeah, you're camping out in somebody's yard. I see both sides of it, and it's an issue that's probably gonna end up in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Another thing, just like we talked about Oakland Island, we're talking about Destin. 38 is still growing, and I mean 38 is growing rapidly. They've got new developments on the west side, like we're talking about more housing, more renting, stuff like that. They're also building a brand new Walmart and a brand new Publix, stuff like that. I mean, so there's two ways to look at this, and I think they're both important. When you see local developers putting money into a place, you say, okay, that place has serious upside. People are building. Now, when you see companies like Walmart, people who are listed on the NASDAQ putting money in this area, they don't just go around on a whim throwing darts on a chalkboard, seeing where it's going to land and say, let's develop there. No, they know what they're doing. And another really interesting part about that is a lot of these developments are having to be built on the north side of 98 because
98 is the
main highway that runs Destin all the way to Panama City. And so when you think about it, south of this, you've got the beach. North is more wooded area before you get to the bay. Back in the day, everyone wants south. I mean, well, who wouldn't? You want to be close to the beach. But the fact that these companies that are coming in here are having to build on the north side is showing that the property is not as bountiful as it once was, or really as it looks when you pull up a map. And so when you see more developments on the north side, that means people are still willing to put money into the area, even though they're not going to be on the beach.
All right, tell me about this map. What are we looking at here?
So right now,
coming back.
Whenever we look at this map, we see that a lot of condos and houses are located right on the beach. But what a lot of people don't know is in the north panhandle of Florida, a lot of that is either military, it's government and land that we can't build on. So people think, oh, I'm going to move down to the panhandle and there's so much land down there to build on, but there's really not.
Because when you're driving, there's trees and it looks all wooded and all they'll cut that. They're not.
It's really not the case.
Yeah. They're government-owned land, all that stuff. So it's not completely built out yet, but it's getting there, and it's going to get more and more built out. You got places like Margaritaville or whatever. What's Jimmy Buffett had that 50 and older, 55 and older operation over there. Very popular. You got St. Joe's building out more on the north side over there, like you talked about. You have what is it, Donut Hole over there and all that building that's going on. I know Courtney on our team lives down there. She spends a lot of time at those restaurants and stuff and the shopping. And with the airport in Panama City opening up, it's a straight shot. All that stuff's going to get built out. And once that's built out, if you don't have a hold here, if you don't have a house here by then, good luck.
I know that's kind of the overarching point here is, we always talk about development. We always talk about new money coming in and new stuff being built and how there's not a lot of area to be built. And so when you see these prices increase, like we talk about every week, prices are going up. What's going to happen when there's nowhere else to build? Don't you want to have a foothold somewhere in there?
And that will happen. At some point, there is going to be no more land to build on, and that's what you're going to have.
It's going to be a battle. They're going to, just like we see across the country, there's more people that want properties here than there are properties, and we're going to run out of building space, and zoning and all that stuff's going to come into play. It's going to get more and more and more. So, and there ain't no more beach like we talked about. We're already fighting over what we have.
Exactly.
I would look for rents to continue to go up. I would look for property prices to go up and all the stuff that goes with it. And you're going to get a lot of chatter about the cost because of insurance, a lot of chatter about the HOAs, this and the other thing. Yes, absolutely, it's gone up.
Yep.
No doubt. But that stuff will settle down. The rents will start to grow. You'll see the spread between the cost to own and the income coming in. And I just can't stress enough. I keep thinking about back to the commercials I looked them up on Google and YouTube and stuff, news articles or reports back in 1980 about how expensive housing was. $61,000 for this house these people were going to buy then. And they couldn't believe it. It was like 18% interest rate, $60,000 for a house. And the American dream is gone. I'll never be able to afford a house. Really, at $60,000, here we are now, 40 years later, and the houses are, what, $400,000, $300,000? Yeah, I mean, if you've bought a house for $60,000, good for you.
That pattern's just going to continue to happen. That's why we're trying to practice what we're preaching. Like Jackson and I are young, we're trying to get into those houses.
So important.
The sooner the better.
I remember the news person asked the realtor, so what would you say to people looking at buying a house right now, this is back in the 80s, that are priced out or the mortgage rates are so high? And the realtor said, beg, borrow, or steal, do whatever you can to get in a house. And people kind of chuckled. I bet they wish they would have listened to her.
Yeah, we see that all the time when we see people come to our shows and come to our listings, and we go, yeah, we talk to a lot of younger folks and they say, well, we'll wait for the prices, blah, blah. And we always say, well, they'll always tell us, you should have seen what they were 20 years ago. You know how much we wish we got in? I mean, it's a fun game to be in when these prices go up, but you have to get into the game.
Yeah. Be a glad I'm dead person rather than I wish I would have. It's a really important thing. And I know we're real estate agents, we get paid for selling this stuff, no doubt. But I have so many people say, oh, I'm so glad you told me about this. But it's hard.
Yeah.
The numbers don't line up as easy as they once did. But beg, borrow, or steal. Beg, borrow, or steal. Do whatever you can to get in, whether it's here, at home, wherever. Get an asset. Get an asset because Wall Street's coming for them. They're going to buy them up and then they'll rent them to you. That's what they're looking to do. All right, what are we doing next week? What do we got coming up? What's on the horizon?
Tomorrow we have our open house in 38 Dunes of Seagrove. It's going to be
What's that, a condo?
Condo. It's unit 103C from 2 to 4. And then if you can't make it in person, we're doing it virtually. It's going to be live on Facebook and you can tune in, and we'll be starting right at 2.
Is that Gulfront?
It is Gulfront. It has 2 pools, a hot tub. We checked out the fitness center. It has a sauna, a steam room. The fitness center was amazing. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to get in because, we're harping on 30 this week. We're going to continue. And getting into that foothold of that area, like we're talking about, is everything with any market. And this is a great opportunity to, like Haley's saying, even if you can't make it, obviously at least join, see what we got, check it out, get some more information on it. It's just a great opportunity to get into that market.
Love it. Love it. You guys are working with a bunch of buyers right now too, aren't you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. The buyers are out there. People will tell you they're not. We'll
they
be
are.
able to tell you that they
Yeah.
are. But
are.
yeah, I mean, the way the market is right now, a lot of uncertainty, but a lot of people are looking to take advantage.
It's always uncertain until you look back. Looking out is always uncertain. Looking back is, oh yeah, I'm glad I made that.
Thank you guys for watching.